Talk about today?
Uh,
You guys good? All right.
so the Tatis Grand Slam had some legs on social media
No doubt.
last night and today. After you slept on it, what you got?
I find it funny that I'm being labeled as the old school guy. That's what I got. Um, no, I mean, I've thought a lot about this. I've thought about a lot of the, just the gray area in the game when it comes to, the unwritten rules. There's a lot of them that I find kind of, we've moved past a lot of these things. The line, is one for one person and one for the other. Just because I was upset about it doesn't mean I was right. Doesn't mean that it's wrong that he swung. I'm always willing and open to listen to discussion. And it's kind of fascinating hearing like a lot of the. I haven't read too many comments, but I've read enough that some people are on this side and some people are far over here. I'm somewhere in the middle. Did it cross the line? In my opinion, yes, but maybe that's because I'm scarred from the years I've been in the game and what I've heard and witnessed, from people in the past. That doesn't mean it's right though. That doesn't mean that he was wrong to swing 3-0. Maybe that's the norms now. Maybe that's the new norm. Maybe that's okay. I don't expect guys to stop swinging the bat. I want to make that clear. I've read a lot like, somebody made a comment of me swinging 1-2 in a grand slam in the ninth inning. I find that kind of funny, to be honest with you, because swinging 3-0, and so I expect him to swing 2-0. I expect him to swing 3-1. The 3-0 pitch was always the one that you would get in trouble for if you swung at it at a certain time. That was just common knowledge, in the game. And now it's a little bit blurred. Whatever. I mean, I'm willing to move on and kind of adapt to the new norms if that's the case.
So for young guys and as someone who's constantly still perplexed by the unwritten rules and still learning about them every day, even after covering this game for 15 years, how do those play? Are there conversations like when they come in? Are there, or is it just like shit happens and you figure it out?
Yeah, I think we do have conversations about it. I've had conversations with a lot of guys and a lot of people the last 24 hours, or the last 12 hours because of that. But like I said, I'm always challenging the norms, and if it makes sense, if it doesn't, if they're necessary, if they're not. I think a lot of the unwritten rules in the past were kind of, a way to kind of maintain power over people, in a lot of ways, like as far as pitching goes. Oh, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to bunt on me. So there was a little bit of a, fear factor. You hear the old school pitchers, the Nolan Ryans, and I've heard all kinds of stories, as a younger player. So, it's different. It's a different day and age. And I think we got to adapt, and I got to adapt. And, did I think it was right last night? No, but at the same time, am I willing to listen to an argument on the other side? Of course.
Okay, for your team now, now one game below 500, really needing to not go down that road any further. How important do you make this? How important is this game and this stretch?
Yeah, I think every game is important. I don't think one is any less. I think right now, there's obviously a heavy focus on something over here. We need to focus on not being down by 7 in the 8th inning. I think that's the most important thing. Like, the kid is good. We need to find a way to get guys out and play better baseball to win games. I think that's where the focus needs to be, and that's what obviously we're going to focus on today. Yesterday was yesterday. We'll put that in the past and learn from it, and hopefully come out today and play better.
Pitching wise, it's been so solid. It hit a little hiccup here of late. How do you shore that up, and what moves and maneuvers can you make to do that?
I think Mike Minor sounds good to me. That's why him and Lance and Kyle, those guys can kind of right the ship. I trust those guys, and Mike, you've got to kind of take that. And listen, I'm not expecting him to go out and throw 7 scoreless, but at the same time, give us a good start and get us back on track.
Last one for me. Is he on a pitch count? Is he?
No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of a normal start for him. We're still going to kind of keep our eye on things and talk to him. I told him to be honest with me, how he feels, and if he feels fine after, every inning, I'm going to let him go as if it was a normal start. Now, if something doesn't seem right or feel right, then obviously we'll have to adjust and possibly get him out of there. But I assume, based on what he's telling me, that he should be fine.
Okay, thanks, Wade. That's it for me.
Some other questions, please? Any other questions? TR.
In your overnight retrospective, what is your feeling this morning on pitch that Jabot threw?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. We don't want to take matters in our own hands like that. Like, obviously, I get that. That's a different day and age. I think maybe back in the day that was acceptable, but MLB has made it clear that that's not. And let's do the best thing by getting him out. I think that's the biggest thing. That's the message I'm going to send today. Like, instead of retaliating, let's go out and try to get the kid out or get that team out. They obviously swung the bat pretty well against yesterday.
One of the things that's coming out of the Padres this morning, apparently, that Kogia, was throwing 1-0 sliders and 2-0 sliders, and they thought that was like, apparently, I've never heard of that, but that was also a no-no.
Who was?
Your reliever.
Nicasio?
I'm sorry. It's going 1-0 and 2-0 sliders in that thing, and they thought that was like, should have been throwing fastballs, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't even want to comment on that.
Fine.
Jeff,
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Mr. Old School, are you going to start bunting in the first inning, or what's going on here?
I knew somebody was. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we just got to readjust everything. Go back to old school days. I don't think so.
What conversation, if any, did you have with Jace, and what was the tenor of those conversations?
I think Jason and I are kind of on the same page with that, and I know, he came out and said he gave him the take sign. Listen, I have a ton of respect for the kid, man. Like, he's fun to watch. He kicked our butt yesterday. Bottom line, I'm not gonna, we got to do a better job trying to get him out. And I think, Jace, if he gave him the take and he swung, it's a learning moment for him. If he didn't want him to swing, he could talk to him about it. I know some of their players maybe had some, obviously agreed with Ting on that. So I would expect there was quite a few conversations with Tatis. It's a learning moment, man. The kid's talented. He's the best player in baseball right now. He wants to hit. Can't blame him.
Thank you.
Other questions? Alex?
Woody, are you seeing the events that happened yesterday as more of an emotional jolt on your ball club? I mean, to get kind of things going, things can happen, and teams can get going from the little list of things. Do you see this club maybe getting going?
I hope, yeah, that's the plan. I don't think because of that. I think it's when you get beat up pretty bad, it kind of tests your ball club. So I expect our guys to come back out today and come out fighting. I don't expect, not in that sense. I don't want to throw that out there on the field, obviously, between the lines. I mean, it's, like I said, this club has a lot of resiliency, and we're not playing great. We're making some mistakes and kind of shooting ourselves in the foot a lot of times. So, we got to play better baseball, but I expect our guys to stay together and keep competing.
Is there something about the first game of every series offensively? I mean, you guys are averaging just over 2 runs a game, 18 runs in 8 games. Is there something specific to that? Is it, I don't know, like preparation purposes?
I don't know. I think we're constantly adapting to see how teams are going to pitch against us and approach us. So I think sometimes either we face a good pitcher or we face good pitching, or we're just maybe they're doing things that they normally don't do. I think a lot of teams now are getting a little bit consistent with how they pitch us, so it's on us to kind of adapt to that and adjust. I think after the first game, we typically have an understanding of how they're going to attack us individually. So maybe that's the case, or maybe it's just, we're just not very good in the first game, out of just blind luck. But we do need to be better. That first game of a series is important, man. It just sets the tone for the rest of the series if you win it.
Evan?
So did any of what you heard, whether from Jace or from all of us online experts, change your opinion?
It made me think about it. Yeah, I think it makes me think about it a lot. Like I said, I think I might be jaded or scarred by my old, just what I've been brought up for 25 years in the game. That was always a no-no. Maybe it's not right. You know what I mean? I'm willing to kind of accept that and look back and go, okay, well, you know, is that okay? Is that the way the game is now? And if that's the case, I'm totally fine with that. You know, I just want to make sure it's consistent throughout, and that's where the lines are so, you know, I think society is so polarized right now that, you know, I don't sit on the far end of it. I'm not, you know, pounding my fist on the table saying that was absolutely horrendous. Like, I just thought it was just past the line, and the line is, you know, who knows? Is it 5 runs? Is it 6 runs in the 8th? I don't know what the line is. And that's one question I've always asked as a player, as a young player in the big leagues, and then as I got, you know, for some time as a coach, you know, now as a manager, I'm always asking that. What are people's opinions on that? You know, because we got in a, you know, bench clear with Miami a few years back in a 5-run game in the 7th. We swung 3-0. You know, and I thought that was like just below the line. And so, I mean, it's debatable. I think that's where I kind of like that we're debating it. I just find it funny that they're calling me the old school guy.
Yeah, it seems almost like the most normal thing in the world, actually, to be debating about a baseball play for a change.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Did you talk to any of your guys in your clubhouse about it?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit with some guys. You know, I talked, you know, during the game, and just getting their opinion on some guys, and some guys didn't like it, and some guys were like, well, I don't know. I don't really, whatever, you got to make a better pitch. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the bottom line. You know, it is a count. It's not any different than, I guess, a 2-0 count. I preach swinging 3-0 probably more than any manager in the big leagues. You know, I get mad when our guys take 3-0 just for takes purposes. So, you know, I'm a big advocate of swinging 3-0. So I would never just say you should take just to take.
Thank you.
Other questions? John Ronigan.
So Woody, when you were coming up and this was kind of ingrained in you, so where would have been the line, right, of when it is going even slightly over the line to swing at that 3-0 pitch? Is it 4 runs? Is it 5? You know what I'm asking?
You know, yeah, I think it's the 5 or 6 runs. That's kind of the debate. I think past that would typically, and it depends on where you are. And I know their bullpen is, you know, and a lot of people have made that comment, like their bullpen they've been giving up some runs. And, you know, I made a comment this morning on a radio show, just, you know, we were down 7-0 and, you know, we had the tying run on deck, and it happened pretty fast. So I get it. Like, I know that 7 runs is not insurmountable, and I fully expect them to keep swinging and keep hitting. And at no point do I expect them to take a pitch and, you know, just swing feebly. I expect Tatis to put on a good swing if he's swinging. But it's just the 3-0 count. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It's up for debate. Is the 3-0 count different? You know, it always has been in my experience, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
Does the fact that Tatis took to social media with an apology today maybe, you know, validate your feelings of last night? And clearly he got that message from somebody, you know, in his organization.
Yeah, I think that just shows the character of the kid. You know, I've talked to Jace a lot about him, and, you know, he's a good kid. He plays the game hard. I respect the way he plays. So at no point am I questioning, like, the kid's character because he, you know, maybe it was just if he was supposed to take and he didn't look down for the sign, you know, that may be just a young mistake. But, you know, the way the kid plays, he's always, you know, he doesn't disrespect anybody. He plays the game. I love it. You know, he has some flair to him. He's obviously a super talented kid. So I'm not questioning the kid's character, but the fact that he did come out and apologize obviously leads me to believe that he was given the take sign.
Yeah, and finally for me, Woody, just what, because you aren't obviously, you know, we're kidding about you being old school. What of those unwritten rules has gone away that you think is appropriate?
There's quite a few. I mean, like, you know, the retaliation part of it, I think MLB has kind of came out clearly and said that that's not going to happen anymore. You know, are bunting on certain veteran players. You know, nowadays it's like the biggest debate I have is like when you're shifting a player, if you're up by 9 or 10, is it okay to bunt? Because you're shifting them, you're taking away their advantage to get hits. Is it okay for them to actually put a bunt down when they're up or down 10? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, that's where you know, there's so many blurred lines now. Like I said, and I like debating them. You know, the running over the mound, you know, all these little kind of silly things that, you know, back in the day would, you know, probably get you drilled in the ribs every time. They don't happen anymore, you know, and I think it's good for the game. I like that there's, you know, more guys are free to be who they want to be. Whenever you would in the past, maybe pimp a home run or, kind of stand and watch it, that's a little bit more acceptable than it ever has been. And I kind of like that. I think it brings a little bit of excitement. We need that in the game.
Anything else before we bring
Thanks,
Louie in? One more, Levi.
Well, a lot of this has been framed as old school versus new school. I saw a couple of tweets today from Johnny Bench and Reggie Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Are they? Do you think that their opinion when they were playing, or do you think they changed their opinions, or do you think maybe it was possibly not as universal as maybe you'd expected? Do you know what the?
No, I respect those guys. They're Hall of Famers, so I mean, I fully respect their opinion. And they were both great hitters, so they want to hit. I think hitters want to hit. Whether it's 3-0 or whatever. I think they probably adapted. They came. They were playing in a time when I don't think anybody would try to hit Reggie Jackson, but he loved to swing the bat, so I would expect that kind of. And some guys that have been around the game a long time, and maybe they were in an era where it was frowned upon. Maybe they're actually excited to see where the game is, and there's a little more excitement to guys swinging the bat. Like I said, I'm fully willing to adapt and adjust to it if that's the norm. I just know that there's a lot of people that are kind of on far end and then at the new school end where they're just like, no, let the kids play. I'm somewhere in the middle, obviously, with respect to the game.